Tracy, maybe I'll give you the microphone first. Just set the scene for us a little bit. You know, we talk about the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. What is it for people that don't know too much about it?
Okay, it's money that the government has given local authorities to basically share amongst their communities to help with the levelling up agenda. So Shropshire Council was given £15 million in total, so it was in two sections really. So just over 12 million to help urban areas, and then the remainder was to be for the rural areas. So the Rural Prosperity Fund came out a little bit later than the other funds. So we were just recently had the first round of calls for that. The 12 million, there's three categories that you can bid into. There's community and place, supporting local businesses, and people and skills. So it is as it says on the tin, really. The fund is administered by Shropshire Council, but it's overseen by the SEP that Tracy was just talking about. So there's that checking process to make sure the bids are eligible and meet the criteria, which is really important. And just as a bit of an aside, of course, Shropshire Council has bids as well into the UKSPF fund, but their bids are assessed independently as well, just to make sure there's that proper governance really over the bids. So far, well, up to May, there was £7 million allocated to businesses in the first round. We just had another call for bids because there was some of the remaining funds, because obviously all the money wasn't allocated. And that closed last Friday. So all those bids are now going through that checking process. In terms of the money, there's been 12 million so far allocated towards bids, and that has supported 615 businesses, and will provide in a total of about 340 grants overall. So significant amount of money, significant scheme, and significantly will help businesses. Thank you, Carl.
How quickly then, if you know, did you say the first round closed in May, how quickly before that whole process is complete and people start seeing things happening as a result of the funding then?
Well, the money has to be spent by March 2025, so it's quite a short window really to make sure that your scheme is delivered. You get into that delivery phase very, very quickly, but the money has to be out the door and has to be spent and projects delivered by March 25.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Tracy. If you can pass the microphone on to Jane, because I know Jane wants to talk specifically, don't you, Jane, about one particular element of this, which sounds fantastically out of this world, Space Hive, doesn't it? Tell us all about this.
I know, it's a really strange name, Space Hive, but really excited that we've got this underway, and we launched it last week. So Space Hive is a municipal crowdfunding platform, and if nobody knows what that means, basically it's a means of us getting crowdfunding into schemes, into projects, into things that really matter to the community across Shropshire, but the council has been able to put some funding in to kickstart these crowdfunding ambitions of our different community and voluntary groups out there. So really this is an opportunity for anybody out there who wants to get something going in their community to put forward an idea into the Shropshire crowdfunding platform, and Space Hive, who's an organisation who specifically does this with local authorities up and down the country. They've done it with 40 other local authorities already, very, very successfully, may I say. And they provide a lot of support to the community and voluntary groups who wish to access this funding. They help them to campaign, they help them to build the crowd, as it's called, actually kind of get people enthused about their projects. They put their own projects forward as well, so this is not a council-led initiative in that respect. It's the projects that people in their own communities actually want to see happen. The council can then put some funding in as a bit of seed corn funding, if you like, to sort of say, well, if you get your campaign to 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000, whatever it is that their particular project needs, the council can put in that extra bit of funding to kind of top it off. And what we found, or what Space Hive has found across the country when they've done this, is every pound that the council puts in to this crowdfunding approach, they get an extra £4 back or more from the crowdfunding approach. So it's been hugely successful. What it also means is that because communities are identifying for themselves what's important and what they want to see funded, it tends to mean that you get all sorts of other interest as well. So people then tend to kind of volunteer more for those groups. They tend to provide resources in kind as well, whether it's premises or supplies or whatever else it might be. And there are also opportunities through the Space Hive crowdfunding approach for others to get involved too. So as businesses, if you wanted to, you know, through your CSR initiatives or whatever, you can also put forward into the Space Hive projects that are in your areas, in localities that you serve as businesses. You might be interested in doing that. There's also an opportunity, Cole, for businesses to actually have a sponsorship status. So if you wanted to, you could actually have campaigns badged with your business information as well, and be credited, against the funding that you put in. Depends how far you might want to go with it, but it's an opportunity for communities, but it's also an opportunity for businesses to really get involved.
Are there specific types of projects that this scheme is designed to support then?
So we're aiming, because you can imagine, because we're Shropshire Council, so we're really keen that things actually support the Shropshire plans. So it's the 4 healthies that Tracy mentioned earlier, about the economy, about the healthy people, healthy economy, healthy environment. So those are the sorts of things that we're theming. But there's going to be repeated rounds of campaigns here through the crowdfunding platform. And the first round that we've got is funded through UKSPF money, so that's how we're able to put funding in to make sure that we can kind of boost the contributions that come from the crowd. But in future rounds, we anticipate getting funding in from other sorts of grant sources. And if businesses themselves wanted to put in and be part of that funding approach and sort of get the credit for that as well, that's another opportunity to do so. So we can see themed rounds coming forward in future. We might have a health round. We might have a round about culture. You can imagine 1001 sports maybe. There could be all sorts of different rounds that we have in future that are themed, and that then kind of communities out there can decide, right, we've got something we would really like to get funded in our community, whether it's supporting their local little football team, whether it's supporting a venue in their community, 1001 different things. And if you we are launching our Space Hive crowd platform now, so we're going to be having a website for this, and we'll start to be able to put things up there so people can see the kinds of things that you can support through this route.
Which I was going to ask you actually, how actually can local businesses help? Are there specific ways that you're looking for support?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can actually pledge. So when you see something that you think, hang on a minute, this really chimes with our business, with the ethos of what we do, or it sort of links to the geography in which our business is located, then please put forward funding and kind of get the recognition for it and think about that. But also, if you think, actually, do you know what, we would love to be behind a whole round of crowdfunding for something because it's something that we care about, then again, put yourselves forward to be a sponsor. Be fabulous.
Is it just about raising money for good causes then? Are there particular causes which are included or will be excluded from something like this?
There will always be some rules about this to make sure that we're able to channel things in the right way, but it is also about that additional thing. It is good funding into good causes, absolutely, but it's also, as a business, you might want to put people forward to be part of volunteering for some of these organisations that are seeking funding. You might want to put forward your expertise for some of these voluntary community groups as well in different ways. So there are other things that you can do to sort of add value and get credit as well.
And I guess ask you the same question that I asked Tracy in terms of how quickly things have got to happen. Is there a finite deadline when all of this has got to be completed by?
Well, the first round is just kicking off now, and we hope that we're getting expressions of interest in the next couple of months, and then we'll hopefully make decisions in the new year in terms of who's actually been successful. But actually, once we get going, we can have round after round of this. So keep your eyes on this, because I think it's going to be really good. I should also mention that we're talking here about things into which businesses can contribute. There is a second UKSPF funded round that I should mention as well, which is about our cultural compact. I don't know if anybody's heard of the cultural compact. It's a grouping of organisations who are keen and interested in the arts and culture and sports and that side of the life in Shropshire, who come together to try and boost that link between culture and the arts and the economy, because of course there are jobs, there are opportunities out there, and the cultural life in Shropshire adds enormously to our economy. And there is, again, UKSPF funded, a grant funding round that is now being launched this month by Shropshire Council, by the Cultural Compact, the Vibrant Shropshire Cultural Compact, that is specifically there. It's grants of £1,000 to £5,000, and businesses can actually apply into this if they're going to be creating something that involves creativity, culture, and outcomes associated with the Shropshire plan. So have a think about that as well. It's another opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jane. Pass the
Okay.
pass along the line. Let's come to Paul now. Now, you're wearing your Aston University hat, aren't you? And I guess the area that you're talking about emphasises just how diverse the SPF scheme can be, because you're very much coming from a manufacturing point of view, aren't you?
Well, sort of, yes. At Aston, we aim to be relevant to businesses and specifically small to medium-sized enterprises. And the APF project, which is the Advanced Prototyping Facility, is a UKSPF project aimed at businesses in Shropshire. That's in the SME community. But we're not just aiming at manufacturing. There's lots of talent out there doing lots of things who require design assistance, production of prototypes, and just help with their businesses as a whole. And we help people from people making cookies in their kitchens all the way through to manufacturing companies who are making manufacturing products for the medical industry, aerospace or rail industry. So a whole variety of different things.
So is this things like developing and working on prototyping and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's we use additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is 3D printing, which gives businesses the opportunity to be able to produce one-offs, low runs, using additive manufacturing, just effectively using a printer to print off exactly what you want. But the design capabilities of it are far greater than what you can get with conventional manufacturing. You can produce things which you just cannot produce conventionally. So, and it gives the opportunity to companies around Shropshire the ability to be able to print off in things like plastics, metals, ceramics, woods. We're even printing proteins now, so we'll be printing meats and all sorts of things like that. Not specifically to eat, I hasten to add, but it's more for cancer treatment. But there's lots of things that aren't available to small businesses, because to buy one of these machines can be anything up to £500,000. Whereas the university at Aston, we've got the machines, and most of the time they're sat idle. So we're giving companies the opportunities to come to me, ask me to print things off, whether it's in titanium, whether it's in materials like scalmalloy, nylons, as I say, different metals, and just use the printers to produce what they want.
Do you think people realise what the possibilities are for this sort of technology?
Nope. People do. Well, I didn't. So, I mean, fortunately, I've got a team around me who are all high-class engineers, or all a lot younger than me, so have grown up with this sort of technology. And we're constantly pushing the boundaries of what you can do with a 3D printer. We can print chocolate, and various other things, and we've worked with cake manufacturers. Do you manufacture a cake? But there are lots of opportunities out there and lots of things that you can do with a 3D printer which you just would not consider.
If you ever watch me make a cake, I make it look like it's a manufacturing operation. It looks like hard work, to be honest. What kind of things then are you looking for from the group you've got here this morning? Is it, I mean, if somebody says, I didn't know this was available, is it literally just collar you before you leave the building and
Yes.
hand a business card over?
Yes.
Then, is it?
Come and grab my business cards, come and grab me. I will say that I know UKSPF is only just starting to get up and running, but I would say that we are up and running. I'm already helping 10 companies across Shropshire who have come to me through various sources, through my own contacts, because I was originally from, well, my family's originally from Bridgnorth, and they're spread out now across Shropshire into Shrewsbury, etc. But the Growth Hub has already put 2 or 3 people in my direction. Their website is working great, because I had a engineering company contacted me last night. So we are actually up and running. We are actually helping businesses now. So we are actually spending that money. Please don't tell them.
So again, I mean, much like I was saying to Tracy a little bit earlier, the important thing now is to start bringing some case studies forward, I presume, then, isn't it, to show what you're doing and the impact it can have?
Yeah, and I would say the APF program is a program which has been running in the GBS lab for a number of years, and our website has umpteen different case studies, so people can go on there, have a look at the sort of help we've given companies, as I say, from engineering through to somebody that was we made some dolls for one company. So, and just look at the help that we've given and look at the growth that we've given to the GBS lab, which we're now bringing into Shropshire. So, and the more case studies we have, the more referrals that we get, the more I can also get the businesses to work together. Now that's been a big part of what we've done in the GBS lab. And I'm also very keen to work with the other partners within the UKSPF and trade, and not trade as such, but point people in the right direction, point companies to other funding streams that they can go for to help grow their business.
Fabulous. Thank you, Paul. Last but not least, let's pass you over to Calvin. Now, you're wearing a sporting hat, aren't you? Shrewsbury Town Football Club and Shrewsbury Town Foundation. So how does sport fit into this project then?
So I think sport across the whole county, I think for many years has been one of those undervalued assets. Shrewsbury Town for being one of them. We've got an 8,000 capacity stadium there, and what we want to be able to do is use this UKSPF People and Skills Funds to use sport as an engager with our partners, Embrace, Bright Star Boxing, Shropshire Cricket. That engager is really, really important. So the funds may be there, the opportunities may be there, but how are we engaging these people differently? So some people that we might be engaging with do have season ticket holders, but don't have the opportunities and the jobs available. So it's about bringing those people together and putting them on these multi-skills programs that we're bringing and designing and starting just after the half term to bring to not only develop their skills, but develop their CVs, their prospects, their confidence, both physically and mentally. So we want to bring all these people together. We want to use sport, the power of sport, to really give these people, not only young people, but those who are struggling to access the system, struggling to access businesses, struggling to access job opportunities within your organisations, the confidence physically and mentally through the power of sport to give them that opportunity and that platform to access that.
And so many of the skills that you need at top level sport translate to business, don't they? Communication, teamwork, leadership, all of those kind of things.
Exactly. And I think although sport may put people off, it's like you're saying, those soft skills, the leadership, the communication, the teamwork, all those soft skills that I think most of us take for granted, that those people out there potentially don't have or just need to develop that one skill to access the workplace. I was in a job centre in Whitchurch last week. A mother in her 50s came in. She's been in work for most of her life, really struggling with the confidence to access the workplace. She's got the skills. She's got everything that an employer would look for, but how are we providing her with the confidence to access those opportunities? And I do believe that the sports industry and the leisure industry have that opportunity, that platform now to really have that hook to engage those sort of people into the workplace.
And you mentioned that you've got some specific upskilling programs running. Are they like short, sharp courses over a particular time scale? Is there somewhere people can go to find out where these are and when they are?
Yeah, so all our partners, including the Shrewsbury Town FC Foundation website, have all the information around the programs. But I suppose what we realised is that we don't want 12-month programs. We want short, sweet, 6-week programs where people can access, can gain the skills, can gain the confidence, can get those qualifications they need to access the workplace as quickly as possible, so they can access not only those part-time roles, full-time roles, further education, further training. And although we only have a small number of people we've got to get into work, the actual outcome is we want everyone to be in work. We want everyone to have the confidence to access the workplace. And I believe this People and Skills funding will really give us that opportunity to engage and to deliver against the priorities that have been set.
So is one of the challenges from your point of view then to make sure that you're getting to every corner of Shropshire, not just the towns, but the rural villages and hamlets, and getting a good geographical spread?
Yeah, so what we've done is we have satellite centres, so we are starting from the bottom of the county all the way up to the top, so Ludlow, Shrewsbury, Whitchurch, and then we've built in within our delivery mechanism that free flexible model where we will be travelling on depending on the demand across the county. So for example, Wem, there is a big demand there for this type of programme, not only because of the local transport links, but making people aware of the opportunities available to them locally, and make them aware of the opportunities that are available in this county. And with the guys in the room now, I think it's having those network and having those conversations to make them understand and have those available to them as we move forward.
Excellent. Well, I know you're all going to be back for our big Q&A, group Q&A at the end, if we can all fit on the stage together. Tracy wants to just finish off.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. So I was just thinking about the 3D printer when Paul was talking, and I just wanted to share with you a quick little sort of funny story. So about 10 years ago, I had to go to the dentist, and I needed a crown, and so the dentist did all the impressions, and you know that was all fine, and then he said, 30 minutes, come back, and I'll fit the tooth, which I thought, that's a bit odd. You normally go away for weeks and come back, and all of a sudden this machine started working in the corner and basically created a 3D tooth for me. That was 10 years ago. So anybody needs any dental repairs, Paul will just be in the foyer on the way back, the way out. So
I thought you were going to say you've not been able to get an appointment since from 10 years ago. So thank you very much to our panel. They'll be back later on. Just give them a round of applause. Thank you.